And just like that, folks, another journey is underway here on the Paranormal Portal, folks. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, because I love when we get together. This is always the happy time. Sorry, I got to check something here. Hold on. Sorry, got to check something. Just a sec. Oh, sorry. Last minute phone calls. You got to love those last minute phone calls. But we'll get through it as always. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Saturday. This is the last live show of the week as we head into yet another week. For those of you here in the U.S., of course, this is, was it Memorial Day weekend? It's Memorial Day, right? Yeah. I think so. Whatever day it is, happy that. I'm terrible with calendars and events. I mean, honest to God, I've always forgotten when things are happening or when they should be happening. So that's my apologies. But it's not for lack of caring. It's just for lack of just remembering. I don't know what it is. My gray matter doesn't hang on to some information really well, but others I do good. Hello, everybody. Love Rocks Company's in here. How you doing, dear? Good to see you. Great to see you. That she makes beautiful jewelry and has sent me a couple pieces, and I really appreciate it. It's just beautiful stuff. If you want to check out Love Rocks Company, check out the Discord in the marketplace section. You'll find more and some beautiful examples of her work. So Neil S is in here. Good to see you, Neil. Rachel gets it right, and John Temprin, Wizard Moon. Portal Mom's here. Good to see you, Mom. Thanks for coming in. Princess Lion is here. John Stevenson is here. And Batman. No, Batman. And we have Annie Manul is here. Good to see you. Artemis Rivers. Good to see you as well. Let's see. Who's in here? Codename Dirty Birdie's in here. Good to see you. Keep it spooky, keep it safe. Absolutely, that's how we do. And then we have Conrail Fan in here. What's up, Brent? Hello, fellow Portal fans. Great to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. And just looking. Oh, Miss Marstall's in here. Good to see you, Marstall. Thanks for coming in. Any other names popping up as we go along? I think that is the first segment of chatters that popped in the door. So far, Grumpy Owl's here. Good to see you, Grumpy Owl. Wonderful to see you. That is brilliant. She messaged left a comment on a video about seeing a green orb in the sky just last night. That's some really cool stuff. Or the night before. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. Everything blends together for me. Just because I'm going too many directions. You know, it's not just the portal that keeps me busy, just so you know. I mean, it's just being a dad and having a family and then just regular life stuff. It's just like all crazy. Everything's always moving so fast, and I just feel like I need a vacation. I don't know, but I know what I need. I need to get out there and investigate again. But I'm just looking through the names just to see if I missed somebody. I don't think I have, at least as I'm scrolling backwards, unless more people have come in. Lucky Gypsy's over in Twitch. Hello, Lucky Gypsy. Thank you for keeping an eye on that. Oh, Amateur Strummers is here. Hey, Al, what's up? What's the good word? I don't know many good words. That's the unknown, though, I think. Isn't that unknown? Isn't that you, Amateur Strummers? I think that's you. It's just these rebrands always throw me. When you guys get new names, it's like, is that new or is that old? I don't know. Is that just another name? But yeah, that's everybody at least going back to the start of the show.
General.
When people started chatting. And the ghost box says general. This is the general chat. Is that what you mean? Or is there a general here? Are you a general? Is that what you're saying? Yes, that is unknown. Yes, LOL had a name change. That's okay. You're welcome to do that. I'm glad you kept your picture the same. Otherwise, I would have never known. Barbara Mora's over in YouTube as well as over in Rumble. Good to see you. Justin Gooder's over in Rumble. HB Girl to You is over there, which is also Lucky Gypsy. So you guys are all over the place. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much. Isaac's here. How you doing, Isaac? Hope you and Kirsten are doing wonderful. I'm excited about all your new endeavors together. That's wonderful news. That's just like, it's neat to see the family grow. and these connections to be made. That's what's really cool. It's like, I don't know, it's funny. You just, we just do a really funky YouTube show, and you guys have made a community out of it and made special connections with each other. And that's just really, really fantastic. It's really incredible. So, let's see what's going on here. Portal Mom, Deb. Is Deb here? Did I miss Deb? Did I miss you, Deb? Sorry if I did. I don't know if Deb... I haven't seen Deb's name come up. Anyway, Deb, welcome to the show. Good to see you, Wizard Moon. I must have just missed it. How did I just miss it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just glad you all are here. Well, I guess we could do official shout outs later. If you like the Paranormal Portal, kindly please follow. Thank you, Gypsy, for putting that over on Twitch. And hello to all of you at Twitch. If any of you are checking out the show, I really appreciate it. That's really wonderful. We are streaming on 3 platforms, YouTube, the Rumble, and as well as Twitch. And so wherever you're seeing the show, if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to have you become part of what we're doing and just, follow, subscribe, whatever, and, be a part of it. We'd just love to have you come back and be a part of it. We do these live streams every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you here. Speaking of being a part of something, how about being a part of meeting Don and I on June 8th over in Kalispell, Montana? Because, folks, that's coming up. That's coming up real quick. Excuse me, I'm a little froggy. Because you can meet not only Don and I, but the incredible hosts of Bigfoot Today who are basically spearheading this event over at the Red Lion Hotel in Kalispell, Montana. And this will be on June 8th from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And you can come by and say hello to us, say hello to Mitch and Steven of Bigfoot Today, and say hello to Charles Howard Johnson, who will be over there. And get to know other people in the community that are into Bigfoot, may have encounters and have stories to tell. There's going to be just a day full of incredible events and discussions, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. But it would just be really neat to meet some of you guys. And I know I say this every show, but I mean, I really do. I take a special personal joy when, we've been at events and somebody comes up and goes, "Oh God, I listened to your show." It's like, oh, neat. Let's talk. I just want to connect with those people. I like to connect with anybody and introduce them to the show, of course. But for those of you guys that have been with us and been a part of this journey, it's like you're already family, except we just haven't met yet. So it's really exciting when the opportunity may come that we can meet face to face. It's kind of I'd love to go to these events all across the nation. In fact, I always feel a pang of regret whenever I see a notification come up of like Tennessee events, dealing with Bigfoot or paranormal or paracons that are going on. And it's like, all over the country. And I would love to go to every one of them. I really would. I would love to do the circuit and get out there and meet as many of you guys as I could, but it's just not feasible right now, for a number of reasons. But of course, just getting to these events is really cost prohibitive. So, we go to the ones we can get to, and we love to meet you guys. So looking forward to meeting any of you that can make it over to Kalispell on June 8th. It's a free event. So if you can make it there and figure out where your accommodations are and stuff, then, getting in the event will cost you nothing. And there's going to be some amazing door prizes, one of which is free being able to take Ken Gerhard's cryptozoology class, online class, for free. It's a one-day class of, several hours where Ken's going to be guiding people through cryptozoology and talking about the ins and outs of it and stuff. And it's I haven't taken it myself, but I would love to, because Ken is brilliant. He is an incredible guy. And having met and talked with him several times, I really like him. He's a very sincere, down-to-earth, genuine person, and I really enjoy talking to him. So another door prize that's going to be given away is some casts of the Paul Freeman's castings from Washington State, where he found some amazing trackways and stuff and casted them, as well as the Freeman footage. That's not a prize, but just to let you know who Paul Freeman is. He took some of the most amazing Bigfoot footage, and I would say it's up in the neighborhood of the Patterson-Gimlin film to me. I think it's just really incredible stuff. And so if you want to own your own Bigfoot cast, you could win it, but there might be some available to purchase as well at the event. But anyway, this is what's going on, and we'd love to see you there. Again, June 8th, Kalispell at the Red Lion Hotel, and that's on 20th North Main Street, Kalispell, Montana, 59901. You can certainly, at the bottom of the page here, if you've got more questions or would like more information, go to www.exnorthwest.com or call 509-593-3234 for more information. Look at these two handsome, sexy guys right there. I'm just telling you. You could be hanging out with us. All the cool people will be there. Peer pressure. No, I'm just kidding. But it would be neat if you can make it. So if you can make it, be there. We'd love to see you. That'll be coming up in then. And that's about all I got to say about that. Make it happen, folks. It'll be great. The only other event that I know that Don and I will be going to is in Vernal, Utah. And I think Sheldon might actually make that journey as well. So that'll be an epic opportunity for us to get together as well. So if you're going to be in Vernal, Utah for Phenomicon, that is a 4-day event. And that's not free, but there's a ton of stuff going on there. And it'd be great to see you guys there if you could be. So, I guess that's it for that. All right. So, I keep saying so, I was thinking, God, I got to clear my throat sometime. There, I did it. You might not have heard it because I'm muted. All right. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We got a lot going on here in the show tonight. It is just you and I. Jimmy couldn't make it tonight, and so this has been a week of me. You've gotten a week of me. I hope you don't mind just a week of me, but anyway, I love doing it either way, whether there's somebody here sitting with me or connected with me online or just me in a microphone. I love doing these shows, so let's get to the news. We got that coming right up here. I got a few articles, and then we're going to move into the Discord question of the week. Again, special thanks to Chucky Danger. Jimmy Cipriano. He's been a Saturday co-host for a while now, and Jimmy's a great guy. He's actually a video editor, and he's been helping me edit videos for the investigation series. So, great guy, wonderful guy. You know, when he's on the show, if you haven't seen Jimmy before, check out some of the Saturday shows in the past. He's been on several of them, and we have a great time with Jimmy. He's a good person. Much like Sheldon, much like Don, everybody brings their own personality to the shows, and all three of those shows are very different just based on who the co-host is. It's funny how much those people, these other wonderful personalities add to each show. It's really cool. But all right, we're gonna get to the news. So I hope you guys are ready, because I'm gonna do my best to news you up. Hopefully you'll learn something. You'll take something away. You'll leave the news going, gosh, I didn't know that. There you go. That's the goal of every show. So without further delay, it's time for the news. All right, I'm going to break this out. Okay.
Wash.
What? I'm sitting here laughing at myself because I know I've got to do the joke of the day. I got actually a couple of them today. But this one cracks me up because I didn't get it. much to Rachel's chagrin, I'm sure. But today's joke of the day, the first one for the newscast is, and she calls it a dad joke. So that's what really makes me chuckle. It's a dad joke, but I'm a dad, so I can use these. It's legal. I'm a father, so I can do this. Why did the frog hang around the archery range? Because he heard that time flies like an arrow. Get it? It cracks me up because I had to have Rachel explain it to me. Like, I don't think I get this. Frogs like flies. That's why she explained it to me. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I got it. So is it just me, or am I really that thick that I just couldn't figure that out? I don't know. I saw someone. Yeah, that's a Rachel bad dad joke. Amateur Strummer says. What did I see about somebody talking about Discord? Who was it? Where did it go? Oh, Mr. Golden V or Golden 5. I'm not sure if you go with the V or is that a Roman numeral 5, but I've been trying to work out how to use Discord without embarrassing myself. First of all, I'll tell you what, if you can get to Discord, and we'll get to it after the news, I'll talk about the Discord and walk you through a little bit of it rudimentarily, but there is a Discord tutorials thread in there that if you click on it, there's some videos you can watch, or just look up videos on YouTube about how do you use Discord or how to use Discord. And they'll walk you through it. It's once you figure out how to do what you want to do there, it's really basically very easily accomplished. Everything from leaving a message to just reading different threads is really, really simple, but it's laid out in a really awkward way compared to most software. So I will admit Discord is a little alienating at first because it's like, well, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. What is this? But once you figure out what you're looking at, it's really quite easy. So don't worry, Mr. Golden 5 or Golden V, either way. But it just takes some time. So just get used to that. I do have another joke just because. I thought I'd put out Rachel's joke first because I want to know if it was just me. Am I just that thick, or is that just an unusual joke? I mean, it still makes me laugh because it's just it's oddly funny. But anyway, Conrail fan says, I see all you here during the shows, but I'm usually driving my semi during live shows, so I can't text and drive. Well, yeah, please don't. We'd rather you were safe, Conrail. So just take it easy and kick back and relax and enjoy the musings of me and a microphone. And hope you enjoy the shows. But thanks for tuning in either way. I think it's cost eats. I don't know what that means. Is it a Rachel joke? Yeah. Is there a band app now too? I don't know. Band app? Well, I use Bandcamp. Bandcamp is where you can post songs, if that's what you mean. If you go to brentthomas.bandcamp.com, that will bring you to the 3 songs that I have up that you can listen to and download if you like, for a menial, tiny fee. But anyway, Mr. B, Hoggle, how you doing? Good to see you. It's great to see you in the show. Rachel's jokes are the best. They are good. I like it. I liked Rachel's joke. But it was one of those that once I understood it, it was hilarious. It's just, I don't know why my brain didn't grab it. And I don't know if there's something wrong with me or if that's just because, Rachel gets it right and I'm not always right. Anyway, the other joke I got for you guys for today's newscast is, I thought this one was cute. All right, so it said, why did the radish blush? Because he saw the salad dressing. Huh? Come on. Suddenly the view count just goes wah, wah, wah. That's my stupid jokes. Anyway, I think they're kind of funny. They just crack me up. All right, the salad dressing. Come on. That's cute. All right, anyway, let's get to the news. See if I can not alienate the rest of my audience now. All right, let me pull up the tab here. Here we're going to go. Again, throughout the course of the show, we utilize several different sites, and I just ask that you guys give these sites your attention, your love, your traffic, because running an internet site that gets significant traffic is an expensive venture, and they need all the love they can get because Oftentimes these are coming out of their own blood, sweat, and tears, and your traffic can help offset the costs that they have to incur. We love these sites. We don't want them to go anywhere. They're amazing. They're wonderful. These people are doing incredible jobs. So please visit these sites, give them your love and attention and traffic, and help them keep the lights on. All right. So the first, God, I'm watching a feed of myself on a browser, and it's throwing me off because I'm like, wait, I'm not looking that way. So the first story is coming from an amazing site called unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is kind of concerning. I don't know. I guess it's, here's the thing. For a long time, we in the communities have been going, why doesn't mainstream science invest in some of this research for some of this stuff? Because whatever's going on here is real amazing. And of course, for the longest time, mainstream science has always been like, oh, well, some of those weirdies over there, seeing lights in the sky and all kinds of weird stuff. And it's understandable that some scientists don't want to dive into it just because of maybe the professional damage it might do to their reputations, just to even acknowledge and look into some of the stuff. But more and more, there does seem to be some scientific efforts concerted into exploring some of these phenomena. Mostly right now, it seems to be invested in the UFO, UAP phenomena. That seems to be the hot ticket right now for any kind of scientific inquiry, is to start diving into it. So I'm going to sneeze, I think. Nope, maybe. I'm teetering right on a sneeze. Ah, dang it. Okay, it passed. Sorry. Anyway, this is scientists reportedly want to build a nuclear-powered UFO detector. Huh? Nuclear-powered, that's right. Yep, why not? Spin some nuclear power at it. Well, and I don't know what they mean, if they mean that it's going to be a detector that's powered by nuclear energy, or is it a detector of nuclear energy to see if that's what they're utilizing in some of these advanced spacecraft? And I don't know. I guess we can read the article and find out. But anyway, I'm having a nasal moment here, so I'm kind of delaying. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Woof. All right. Anyway, luring inquisitive extraterrestrials, I should put it on the screen, luring inquisitive extraterrestrials to our planet using nuclear radiation seems like a bit of a shot in the dark. Rather than relying on chance encounters with UFOs, what if it was possible to study potential otherworldly visitors by deliberately luring them to your location? That's an interesting take, because it is often cited that on nuclear installations, both power plants and military, they seem to get an exorbitant amount of, or at least a above average amount of unknown air traffic. And so maybe this is a great take. Maybe this is a good angle. They seem to be very interested in checking out our nuclear capabilities whenever we fire something up. So maybe that is a good way to lure them in. But anyway, this is the premise behind a rather strange idea that, according to news outlets, has been championed recently by Kevin, I don't know how you say this, Knuth, is that Knuth or Knuth? I don't know. We're going to go with Knuth. Professor of physics at the University of Albany. Given that there have been a lot of UFO sightings in and around nuclear facilities over the years, he argues it is reasonable to conclude that these objects are particularly attracted to nuclear radiation. Keen to take advantage of this, Knuth claims that efforts are now underway to use miniature nuclear reactors in space to lure in passing extraterrestrials. Well, they'll never see that coming. It's like we're treating them like fish now. We're just going to dangle a worm out in space and hopefully we'll get a nibble. Like these beings are arguably thousands or millions of years advanced to us in both knowledge and technology and probably understanding. And we think we're going to hang a carrot off the moon and they're just going to come check it out. Like they'll never see this coming. I don't know. I guess it's worth a shot, but it is kind of, even though it's like, well, let's put a nuclear reactor up there. There is merit to the fact that they seem to check this stuff out. But when you think about it, it's just fishing. I mean, it's like a new lure and you're casting it in the pond. Just like, wonder if they'll bite on this. Looks like a fish. So the other thing that's kind of scary is, well, they're going to be shooting nuclear reactors up into space. What if that goes wrong? How does that work? Again, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to be really pro or against it. I guess it's worth a shot. But anyway, let's see what else it says. It says we were trying to figure out how we can lure UFOs and work out how to make contact, he told the Daily Star. We settled on the fact that UFOs have an interest in and an ability to detect nuclear weapons, some of them underground, some of them in bunkers or in storage depots. Oh, God, is that just a sneaky way to put nukes in space? And no, it's not for bombing. It's for the aliens. That's the scary version. No, it's just trying to see if the aliens come check it out. It's not for dropping onto our enemies. I don't know. That's a tough sell. How do they do this? How are they using neutrons, which are really hard to detect, or gamma rays? We don't know. But my colleague has developed a new technology, which is basically a handheld lithium-powered nuclear fission reactor, which he is now patenting. Maybe these guys will detect it and come down and find out what these crazy monkeys are up to this time. And we can get some imagery on, or some data. That's our plan. Well, I guess it's worth a shot. I don't know. If it's just a handheld sized thing, I guess that's okay. But it's extraordinarily interesting. What do you guys think? Good idea, bad idea? I don't know. Mr. Golden V, I joined the Discord, I think. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I assume, sir, because you have Mr. in there. But anyway, time for a drink. my tumbler just decided to exhale. Refreshing, folks. All right. Well, that's the first piece of news. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's worth a shot. I mean, it's fair enough to say they've given nuclear sites on Earth lots of attention over the years. So why not put them out in space and aim some telescopes at it and just see what happens? It's worth a shot. Why not? Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is the next article. We've got 4 to get through tonight. And so let's get to number 2. And this is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And what is this one? I forgot. Oh, yeah. So this was interesting. There was apparently a weird stone that was found with some weird characters on it. And apparently they've been translating it now. And it has yields a surprising discovery. Let's check it out. See what this is. This is from the Archaeology and History files. Translation of mystery stone slab yields surprising discovery. So we reported on this before, and it was really unclear what language this was, but this was found in England. I think it was a guy was like redoing the stones of his pathway, and he turned over the stone, and it had this strange writing on it. And nobody was really clear about what it is. So, but now they must have that identified. So let's see what it is. Efforts to determine what is inscribed upon the stone, which was found in a man's patio, has proven challenging. Back on May 15th, we reported on the discovery of a mysterious stone tablet bearing an indecipherable inscription, which was found when John Adams of Shropshire, England, lifted one of the patio stones in his yard. You can find the original article here, which we covered on the show, so we're not going to do that. His house had once been a pub, which is situated on what used to be a well-frequented travel route, so it seems quite possible that the stone had been part of a landmark of some kind. The house was an inn previously, he told BBC News at the time. It was also a pub. Maybe it was written by somebody who happened to be passing through or staying here. After asking for a second opinion online, John learned that the writing was most likely to be in Hebrew, and now, with the help of university academics, it has been finally possible to translate it. Well, sort of. According to Professor Lily Kahn, who is head of Hebrew and Jewish Studies at University College London, the writing is definitely Hebrew, but the actual inscription itself appears to be gibberish. When you look at it more closely, you can see that it doesn't actually make any sense, she said. And not only does it not make any sense in Hebrew, it also doesn't make any sense in Yiddish or Aramaic or other languages that Jews wrote in a form of the Hebrew script. The most likely explanation, Khan argues, is that the person who wrote it was drunk. Yeah, I know when I'm drunk, I'll spit out some Hebrew or Aramaic or whatever. I don't know. That's crazy. I'm kind of relieved it wasn't a gravestone because it would have been a bit spooky to find in your patio, said John. The drunken monk, I'd very happily go with that, and that's a lovely story, especially in a pub. Yeah, I guess. Could you imagine there's just a monk just getting plastered? Kind of goes against the whole monk thing, doesn't it? I mean, I know monks were brewers and stuff, but I don't think it was a habit for them to just get hammered. But maybe, you never know. I could be wrong. Never been a monk that I know of in this life or any others that I've lived. But anyway, that's kind of a crazy punctuation to the end of that story. It's like, well, yeah, the good news is it looks like it's Hebrew. The bad news is he's probably drunk. Well, there you go. Either that or it said something they didn't like and didn't want publicized in any way. I don't know. I don't need to put a conspiracy on every bit of intrigue that goes on. I think there's enough of that on the internet, but I don't know. I mean, perhaps it is just the ramblings of a drunk monk. That could be a book, couldn't it? The Ramblings of a Drunk Monk. If anybody writes that, I only need a small percentage for the title. I'm good. I'm just saying. Or that'll be my autobiography, The Ramblings of a Drunk Monk. Even though I don't really drink. Anyway, let's get on to the next story on the news. And this will be also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one is, I don't even remember. Let's see what I pulled up. Man discovers mysterious object from space on a remote forest trail. That's not what you usually find on forest trails. Here we go. Man discovers mysterious object from space on a remote forest trail. The peculiar object was found quite by accident along a trail in Haywood County, North Carolina. That's over by Deb somewhere, I'm sure. Justin Klontz, Clontz, a groundskeeper at the Glamping Collective campsite. That's like glamping. Isn't that like where you just bring campers and you call it camping, but it's glamping? Was shocked when he came across a strange charred object along the nearby forest trails. Measuring an inch thick and around 3 to 4 feet across, the mystery object was so heavy and unwieldy that Klontz had to resort to using a lawnmower to tow it back to the campgrounds. What the hell is it? Well, that's not like a meteor or anything. That's like a piece of technology. Almost completely black in color, the object had several metal plates and rivets attached to it, while its surface was covered in what looked like charred or frayed carbon fiber. Given the place where it was found, Klontz believed that it fell from the sky and possibly even from space. Yeah, I mean, it could be some satellite thing that burned up on entry, or at least largely burnt up. We don't know what it is, he said. We just know that it's not from up here. It's a 1 in a million chance that it lands, especially if it landed somewhere off the trail in the woods. You'd have never found it, but it just happened to land on the trail. Despite the weight of the object, nobody had heard any noise when it landed. As for what it could be, several suggestions have been put forward. Some believe it's most likely to be from an aircraft, while others subscribe to the notion that it is a piece of space debris. You can check out the local news reports covering the find below. What do you think it is? And this is ABC News, WLOS News 13. Let's check it out. I'm curious as well. Let's see what they say. Let me just look and make sure this is framed up well. Yeah, this will look good. Here we go. Let's dig into it.
New tonight, a Haywood County man is sharing his story after just discovering a strange object that he thinks may be from outer space.
And so far, the object has not been inspected by aerospace experts, but the discovery has a lot of people scratching their heads. News 13's Mark Liverman explains.
I'm just shocked as to what it was.
Kind of hard not to be, especially when you find something like this along a very remote Canton trail.
Once in a lifetime, it don't happen every day.
But it did happen to Justin Klontz when he and a coworker found it.
It don't happen every day. Which is good. Which is good. We would hate to be raining space debris all over. That would be kind of dangerous. But anyway, let's continue.
Burnt carbon fiber dotting the surface, heavy-duty pieces and plates of metal held together with what look like thick bolts. Justin was working his job doing grounds maintenance at Glamping Collective in Haywood County.
Oh, that's glamping.
He walked about half a mile down this trail when his friend pointed it out.
Okay, so their glamping looks like, what do they call those huts? Well, I mean, those look like geodesic domes, but a yurt. It almost looks like a dome-like yurt. That's a glamping, I guess. That's glamping in their eyes.
We don't know what it is, so we just know that it's not from up here.
I just want to give you an idea of how big this object is. I stand at about 5'10", and you can see this thing comes past my waist. It's heavy duty. You can see all the reinforcements, the bolts, the carbon fiber. And then check this out. Look how thick this material is.
Wow.
Through the middle, almost an inch thick. The object's weight so heavy that Justin had to tow the thing.
I just tied a rope to it and drug it out with the lawnmower. That's just a 1 in a million chance. Yeah. That it lands, especially if it landed somewhere off the trail in the woods, you'd never found it, but it just happened to land on the trail.
So what is it, and how did it even get here?
I looked up in the trees and stuff, and it just landed perfectly in the trail and then through an opening in the woods.
So none of the trees or leaves around it looked like they had caught fire or anything like that?
No.
A piece of debris this big, you'd figure someone would have at least heard it land. There's going to be some kind of a sound, you would assume.
Not up here. Once you get so far in that trail, you don't really hear nothing in the woods.
Glamping Collective's owner plans on reaching out to aerospace experts to figure out what this thing is and where it came from. Until then, this just remains a mystery in the mountains. In Canton, Mark Liverman, News 13.
Looked like Thanos' diaper. I don't know what the hell that is. Good God. That's crazy. Well, there you go, folks. That's the chunk of debris, but I mean, it's an inch thick. Obviously, carbon fiber. You can tell by the fraying and stuff, and the mesh pattern of it. But it must be off of a satellite or something. It doesn't look like it's like anything UFO-y, because I mean, you can see some of those bolts had like the hex heads on them or whatever, or the I don't know, the different nut drivers that you can use. I don't know if they were rivets or what, but I mean, it looks like it was meant to last, whatever the hell it was. Hell, maybe it's part of the Black Knight satellite. Who knows? Maybe they shot it down. But in any case, there you have it, folks. Whatever the hell it is, it's now in North Carolina. At least this piece of it is. So, Thanos' diaper seconds. You guys seconding that? I mean, you just think if Thanos wore a diaper, what would it look like? It looked like something like this. Because I imagine that guy could roll a deuce like nobody's business. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's the story, and we're sticking to it. We don't know anything, but it's strange. There's my sneeze. I finally got it. The sneeze finally happened. Woof! I'll tell you what. That felt good. I actually enjoy sneezing, for the record. I find it very like a big release. I don't know. Anyway, very cool. Thank you, Weird Traveler. Weird Traveler says, "Bless you." Pretty dangerous, Eventually, it's going to land on someone's house. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's great that it landed just out on an empty trail. My God, you'd be walking your puppy, and suddenly you've got a black disc or a black sheet of something at the end of your leash. It's like, Fluffy, where the hell? I'm just saying that would be the bad end to a dog walking experience. There you go. I don't know. We don't know anything. It's just a piece of something that fell down. But again, it doesn't look extraterrestrial. It looks very, very terrestrial, but I mean, Jesus, that's thick as hell. And if it's that much carbon fiber, that thing like literally would have been bulletproof, I would think. I mean, carbon fiber is a tough material. So got to play the odds. Splat. Yeah, exactly. There goes a Chihuahua. Yeah, you'd leave with a Chihuahua and end with a tortilla. That would be it. I'm just saying. That's not probably that funny, but it's funny in my head for the record. Very funny, very weird stuff. All right, that's the next one. What do I got left? I don't even know. All right, here's what's left. This is the last one, and this one's interesting, and I saw this posted on a few sites, but I'd pulled it up from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this looks like a pretty wild phenomena. I don't know what this is, but I've seen several pictures of this, and it's literally very, very strange. And if you'll notice, well, let me get it on screen because the story is from unexplained-mysteries.com, Modern Mysteries. Strange, eerie pillars of light appear in the skies over Japan. Now, if you look at the image that's included here, there's quite a bit of cloud cover above it. So this isn't just something that would happen from cloud breaks and some prismatic effect of leaking light from somewhere. I don't know, unless I don't understand how that could form in just a normal prismatic fashion of, moisture in the atmosphere kind of thing. We'll see what they say. I'm sure there'll be some attempts to explain it away, but it does look pretty bizarre. Here we go. The phenomenon, which was visible over the ocean, occurs under very specific atmospheric conditions. Well, there you go. It's very specific atmospheric conditions, folks. That's all. Nothing to see here at all. Residents of Japan's Tottori Prefecture earlier this month were treated to a rare and impressive phenomena when peculiar vertical pillars of light appeared in the clouds high above. And I don't know that those are in the clouds. They seem to be beneath the clouds, but let's continue. When photographs and videos started to appear on social media, many users speculated that the light beams could be a sign of alien visitors or some sort of secretive military testing. In truth, however, there did happen to be a conventional explanation for the spectacle. Of course there did. Just like atmospheric rivers that just came into being in California in the last 6 months, and other weird atmospheric anomalies that now just have normal names. Oh no, it's not anything unusual. It's an atmospheric river. Well, nobody's ever heard of that before, but suddenly that's what's happening in California, or was happening with all that major flooding and stuff. All right, let's see what the explanation is, because I'm dying to know. One clue is the fact that the lights appeared above the sea, and there happened to be a lot of fishing boat activity at the time that they were visible. I'm sure there's always fishing boat activity on the Sea of Japan, around Japan. Known locally as Isaribi Kochu, these eerie light pillars occur when ice crystals, which form during specific atmospheric conditions, interact with the bright lights used by fishermen to attract fish at night. Okay. All right, looks like that's the whole article. It says light pillars are an atmospheric optical phenomena in which vertical beams of light appear to extend above and below a certain light source. Sometimes they even appear as detached from the source. These ones were spotted over Daisen, a coastal town in Japan. What do you think, folks? why would they be? I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I got a million questions in my mind as to how that could be, because how come just those ice crystals are illuminated then? I mean, are they using lasers on these boats? Because this is a very precise area of light. This is a very precise, lines of light. They are not diffused. They are not spread out. So are they using lasers on these boats to attract fish? Because I don't understand how that could be reflected, or, I essentially reflected and appear as these pillars of light. Now, I'm not a physicist. I'm not a optical engineer of any kind. So I don't pretend to know all of the light dynamics that might be involved here. But as a layman looking at it, I'm like, well, then you should be able to go outside with a flashlight or, a high-powered spotlight and create these at will in the sky whenever these ice crystals happen to be present. And why are the ice crystals present in Japan earlier this month? What was going on atmospherically that was so unique? And why would they create pillars of light like this, whereas it's very clear, even on the clouds above them, there's not any... I mean, did the light just stop with these ice crystals? That doesn't make sense. Why didn't they just continue going? Why in this absolute one level is there 9 pillars of light, but they're not below? Well, there's some light in the picture, but they're not above it. And unless they're much higher above, you could, maybe the picture cuts out too much, and there's a lot more to see above it. Like maybe you'd see these dots above on the undersides of the clouds. I don't know. It's very, very strange. Could it be an energetic thing? Sure, I don't know. I mean, could be. Energy, light is energy, energy is light. I don't know. It's a weird explanation. You guys got to let me know what you think. Do you buy that? Do you guys buy that's the lights reflecting off of these plethora of fishing vessels that just happen to be right under here, but we can't see? Saw a halo once around a full moon. Yeah, I did see that. I've seen that as well, Fred. You're absolutely right. I've seen that many times. I think they call it a moon dog, or in the winter time they call it, and it's the daytime, it's a sun dog, I think. But I don't remember. But I've seen the halo around the moon many times, especially in Minnesota, where God, it's so freaking cold. That you basically want to freeze just to go out and get the mail. So I don't know. Sundog, yep. Yeah, that's the daytime phenomena. Under the right conditions. Yeah, maybe. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I got a million questions about it, because how is it just in these direct beams, like laser precise beams, but not around it? Why is it? And maybe it's the way the light is hitting a whole area of crystals and being refracted into these lines like this just by the chance of positioning. I don't know. Because, I mean, crystals and ice can act as a mirror as well. So maybe that's just the luck of the draw. They all happen to be pointing the same direction or in groups of different directions. I don't know. It's strange. It's a strange thing. Well, maybe it is true. I don't know. It just seems really bizarre to me. And it's another, unless it can be reproduced. If you can show me a reproduction of it and how it was reproduced, I'd be more apt to believe it. But this seems to fall under we don't know what it is, so let's explain it as something. Kind of the swamp gas and the lights of Uranus were about, thousands of UFO sightings were blamed on Uranus or, some other celestial body being mistaken for a UFO. It's like, no, people aren't that stupid. I mean, sure, maybe a few of them, but not all of them. Anyway, that's my take on it. Damn, could be anything. You're absolutely right, John Tempered. But I'll tell you what, that's the news. That's all I got for you. If anybody learns more about these ice pillars of light being caused by fishing boats, let me know. Send me an article or whatever. I think that's far too convenient to just grab something like that and go, well, there is an explanation. yeah, but I don't know how bright those lights are that they're fishing with, but they're usually pointed down into the water, not up at the night sky. I mean, of course, water reflects lights, but again, those are very precise angles and very precise, very, very contained pillars of light. So I find that suspect, at least. Anyway, that's my take on it. It's just my 2 cents. I'm an idiot, so you don't have to believe anything I say. It's just my belief. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show because we're all out of news. And I think that's enough news. Even if we had more, that would be enough. So, all right, guys, we're going to dive back into the rest of the show. Buckle up. We're going in. Thank you, Maggie. I wish I could take some credit for it, but it's all unexplained mysteries. Run, chicken, bunko. Sorry, I had to give Don a nod there. All right, folks, we are going to return now to the rest of the show. And we got a lot more to get to as the story goes. So does the show. And got to dance to the 70s music. Weird Traveler. I understand. Hey, Fred. Sorry. Trying to do a Barney with a little congested. Ha ha, no, Brent has been donified. No, there can be only one Don. He's like the Highlander of odd and unusual. There can never be another one. Don is a very unique soul, and that's why we love him. Yo, Brent. Yo, Portillians. How you doing, David Barnes? Good to see you, brother. All right, so we've got a lot more to get to. As always, we have been talking a little bit about Discord tonight, which is rather perfect because it's time to dive into some Discord. Some Discord stuff is cooking here in the portal because it's Saturday nights, and when it's Saturday night, it's also time for... All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Discord question of the week. And what you're seeing on your screen is actually the Discord. This is the Discord community. When you come in, you'll be greeted. Oh, Jono stopped in. Join the Discord. Good to see you, Jono. And waving to say hi. So when you join Discord, what you're looking at on my screen on the left-hand side, these are different servers. Like there's the Kev Baker Show server, which is being continued by ZX81V2. Is doing a fantastic job in light of Kev's passing. He's keeping the candles lit over there, so God bless him, and thank you for doing that. Here's Cade Moya's Believe podcast. That's his server. So if I click on that, I'll be in Cade's server. There's several of them here. Here's the Paranormal Portal, which is us. So when you join, this is where you should be, and this is where you should end up. In this tab called General. Now, this is the Paranormal Portal Discord server list. So over here are the servers themselves. Here are the list of discussion threads that are available. Now, some of the stuff you guys won't have access to because you're not admins, which is fine. But you'll be able to have access to the Portal Marketplace, the news, donations, rules, etc. Down here's the discussion area. And this is where we host giveaways. I got to do a giveaway before the end of the month. I'm going to get that done. Sorry, guys. I'm just treading water, trying to catch my breath. Here's the Discord tutorials. So if you click on this with your left mouse button, this will open up this. And then you move your mouse over here into this area. This is the actual meat and taters of the Discord tutorial thread. Use your mouse wheel between the left and right button and scroll up. Just wind it up until you get to the top. And these are some tutorial videos you can click and watch. And they'll walk you through how to use Discord. Discord 101. Here's a beginner's tutorial. Once you watch those, you'll be really good to go. It's really pretty basic. So There's all kinds of different threads. Like I said, when you join, you'll be in the general tab, but you can click on any one of these tabs, the different topic tabs, where there's episode discussions that sometimes people talk about stuff on the shows as we're discussing them. Here's Bigfoot thread. If you're into Bigfoot, just use your mouse wheel, scroll up and down, check out the different postings that people have made. Here's Dogman. And this is Annie Manuel's got the latest posting here. But again, use your mouse button to go up and down and check what people have been posting. Ghosts, UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, which is a little different. UFOs is the objects in the sky. Extraterrestrial encounters is meeting them. And here's cryptids, which is, other than Dogman and Bigfoot, other cryptids like the Loch Ness Monster or Pale Crawlers or any number of things, Mothman, etc. There's a cool thread here that's music, and people post just music they're into, and I think this is really cool. I've actually learned about several different bands that I'd never heard of before that are posted in here. You guys have a great eclectic taste, and I love it. I love finding new music. Strange Phenomena is next, and the Paranormal Library, where people recommend books that they've read dealing with the paranormal or that they're interested in. Here's a movies section, paranormal movies like Contact, great movie. With Jodie Foster, or who was in that? Maybe it wasn't Jodie Foster. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I think it was Jodie Foster. But anyway, and then there's a Paranormal Art Gallery where people are posting their art, things that they're making. Like this is Rachel, the red cap. Rachel's incredibly talented. So if you're a paranormal artist of any type, if you do AI art or actual physical art, post it in here. Show everybody what you can do. And the marketplace is here. This is where you can find information about buying Paranormal Portal shirts. If you go way up to the top, the first posting, look at Chucky. There's Chucky Danger sporting the best looking hoodie in all of Paranormal and t-shirt. The man must have the whole collection. He's just a machine. But here's the link up here for the Paranormal Portal Creator Spring. And you can find our shirts and hats and stuff like that. There's Crystals and Jewelry in Love Rock's company, who's in the chat today. This is her work here. Some beautiful work she's done. And there's others. There's rosaries and all kinds of stuff people are making. And some AI art that people have made and have offered for people if they're interested in it. So there's lots of really cool stuff. This is Barbara Mora made these. Chucky bought them, I guess. So very good stuff. Barbara does a lot of ceramics and clay stuff, so she's incredibly talented too. Lots of wonderful stuff. So what we're interested in right now, of course, is this thread. This is the Discord question of the week. And so we've got a whole host of things to get through here because Chucky has been doing a great job spearheading this effort. Thank you so much, Chucky. I love you, brother. You're really helping out a ton by taking care of the question of the week. And this week's question is a good one. It says, question of the week. For some odd reason, there seems to be more and more Mandela effects popping up. Popular movie references now appear to be completely different than what most remember them to be. Famous celebrities known for very specific lines or styles now being different or absent. Why do you think these seem to keep popping up? What are some of the new ones you've been noticing? Phenomenal question. We had a bit of a discussion last week about this kind of stuff, and this is a great question to put to the question of the week. And the reason I love the question of the week for those of you that are new is that there are no wrong answers in any of this. There's no stupid answers. Any idea you have is just as valid as anyone else's. So don't be afraid to go out on a limb and say, well, here's what I think. You know, it's not that everybody's going to resonate with it, but they don't have to. It's you are as absolutely right as anyone else can be because we know nothing about this stuff. So put it out there. You know, I've learned a bunch of different new ideas to think about from you guys entering your ideas in here. So please keep doing it, and don't be intimidated by the posting your thoughts and thinking, oh, I'm not smart enough. It's stupid. No, it's not. It's your take. And you're entitled to speak that, and I love reading it. So Annie Manuel comes in first, and she says, are there more incidents of the Mandela effect, or are there, like with so much else, a greater exchange of information than there was prior to the easy availability of social media? Great point. Great point. Is it a new phenomenon, or are we just finally discussing it? That's a good take. Take, for instance, the actual Mandela effect. Apart from the news services, how did people know whether or not he died in the 1980s? You'd go about your day thinking he died, or you'd hear otherwise, and you'd think you'd misremembered it. There wasn't the same mass access to information as there is. Now, people like Chucky and myself can discuss this. We can Google events and compare them to our memory. Mass surveys are easily done too. I'm not sure there are more Mandela events, but what there is vastly increased opportunity to compare notes and discover them. Yeah, that's a great take. Good point. This is not to say that there is not more events, but how would we know? Well, certainly, I mean, with the advent of social media and the internet being widely publicly available and stuff, we have the ability to exchange information by, like no other time in history. There's no other time in history where information has been so readily available, with someone just willing to go in and type a little bit and do a searching and digging. Not that you can always trust search engines, but use several different sources when you're doing that, and chances are you'll find at least something that's relevant to what you're looking for. And so that is a good point. Taipan 007 comes in next and says, the Mandela effect, with it being such a mass phenomenon, we all have had to encounter this, surely. In the movie Moonraker, oh yeah, I know this one drives me nuts too, because I remember this exactly. I thought this was such a cool moment. So in the movie Moonraker, which is a James Bond movie with the villain was Jaws, the guy with the metal teeth that could bite through cables and stuff. I know the love interest of the character Jaws wore braces. Me too. I remember that because I was like, why isn't she freaked out when she looked at him and he smiled at her? And then she smiled and she had braces. And so in her mind, they were the same. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. What a take. And I remember being blown away by that because I was like, run, lady, run. What are you doing? Just standing there. And then she smiled and she had braces, and then he smiled. It was like, oh, what a cool moment. And it got erased. It got changed. Now she doesn't have braces. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. That makes her psycho for just standing there because he was this horrible villain that was, just biting things all the time. And, God only knows. But anyway, the part that made it cool was that she had braces. And then suddenly she didn't. I don't know how that happened. It was a travesty when we lost that one. That was a cool cinematic moment that is gone. Anyway, I know the love interest of Jaws wore braces. That was the cute comical scene of the movie. My mom even remembers it. Now it becomes some strange alternative version where that never happened. Besides Mandela himself, why is this effect on such subtle and non-consequential things like movies, peanut butter, or children's books? Well, it's much more than that, but I hear what you're saying. Those are the most commonly discussed. I know the witnesses' minds are seldom reliable and often easily dismissed, but there was more to this effect. Having spent really only a short time dealing with the practical yet exciting scenarios, there have been enough occasions to question shared mysteries. I, too, am looking for answers. Yeah, absolutely. I think we all are. That's why we're all here, I think, because we're all on this quest to understand what is this weird stuff. And also, it's really refreshing to be able to connect with other people of like minds. Not that I'm big on this whole monoculture of thought, like you must think about things the same way I do. I'm definitely not. I love everybody's unique takes on it. But it is nice that we can connect and share ideas. All right, Neil Alberting comes in next with a bunch of hearts. Aw, that's sweet. Thanks, Neil. Neil S. comes in and says, interesting question. As for me personally, I like to pride myself on very good memory. However, I believe that we sometimes embellish things or alter things in our memories. Sometimes there are other factors. For example, in the film The Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes to Dagobah and R2-D2 is swallowed by a monster and then spit back out. I can distinctly remember in the film Luke saying, "It's a good thing you didn't taste very good," after the monster spits R2-D2 out. I could swear that line was in the film. But if I recall correctly, I had an Empire Strikes Back book as a kid, and that line was in the book. I guess my brain melded the two things together. Although George Lucas changed so many things in the original trilogy, so maybe I'm right after all. You know, I will say that there was some things in the first Star Wars movie that I remember seeing and just being awestruck. And then seeing the replays, when it came out on DVD and VHS, VHS initially, and then later DVD, I was like, well, that's not in there. I remember it differently. And certainly those things are subject to change on the editing room floor. You know, maybe they re-put together a scene, like, for instance, when the first Star Wars, when they kind of left out the whole Jabba the Hutt thing in the first Star Wars, the first prequel. And that was, it was never really missed. You just knew Han was in trouble with some organized crime guy named Jabba the Hutt. But the reason they left it out is because George Lucas was never happy with that scene. It didn't translate well, and then Jabba the Hutt became this big worm thing much later in The Empire Strikes Back. So it's like they didn't have the budget or the ability to really make that believable at the time. So they did re-add it in the revamps of the original Star Wars, but which was kind of cool to have that moment there. But anyway, strange. It's all strange how it all changes. But great take, Neil. I appreciate that. ZX81V2 says the simulation days are messing around. That's all. The simulations devs are messing around. That's all. New DLC soon. Could be. Might be just somebody monkeying with the master controls up there. Who knows? Barbara Morris says, I've noticed slight variations in many things, and I've always thought it was me mistaking something. But for the bigger, more noticeable Mandela effects, I'm going to have to go with time slips in parallel planes of our universe. Yeah, I'm thinking that something happened like that, at least for segments of the population. Rachel 101 comes in and says, I think we noticed the Mandela effect because of the internet. Information is being shared at such a rapid pace. Yeah, again, great take. That this phenomena is placed right in front of us. Personally, my Mandela effect is, I'm very aware of this. A Canadian news reporter, Mike Duffy, who became a senator, died in the mid-90s, but he didn't die. He's still alive. Yeah. There you go. There is those that are saying, look, it's maybe not more than it was. It's just we're talking about it more. But that's kind of the case for all of the paranormal. I think that generally we can have those discussions now, whereas we couldn't before. There was just nothing to discuss. CERN was established in 1953. Yikes. I did not know that. I guess I didn't either. No, Luke, I am your daddy. There was without a doubt a cornucopia. Oh, yeah, the Fruit of the Loom. Yeah. 1990 was Israeli. So I remember as the gold lame she wore. I don't know what that means. Anyway. But yeah, these things are very real, and they seem inconsequential and silly, but if you follow what it could mean, it's profound. And it's not unlike the paranormal. It's like, does it really matter if you've got some disembodied presence in your house? Maybe in the big picture, no, but what is being demonstrated is an incredibly new layer to reality that we don't formally acknowledge. Things are happening that are defying the laws of physical sciences as we understand them. And so it becomes this amazing event when you look at the ramifications of it. Does it matter if your cereal bowl moves? No, not really. But the fact that it moved without something interacting with it is enormous, because it's demonstrating some energetic interaction between that physical object and an unseen force that's happening in front of your eyes. And that's the earth-shaking part. So I always treat all of this stuff as amazing, and it can be the most mundane things. But what we're seeing is the dismantling of our understanding of physical sciences. Wait, an object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by another force. And that still holds true. We just don't understand the force that interacted with it. And that's what we need to understand. That's where we got to look. Those are the breadcrumbs. And that's why this stuff is huge. This stuff is immense, enormous, earth-shaking ramifications. Because if we understand that force, we may understand anti-gravity. We may understand the ability to allow mass transit without huge energy or whatever. I mean, there's so many ramifications of how a simple thing like your cereal bowl moving could change the face of society in our world. Because we would understand a subtle energy force that's there, existing, maybe even consciously controllable, and we could apply that to improve the quality of life for all people everywhere. And that's where it becomes big. So I don't like it when people disregard this stuff like, okay, all right, loopy boy, because this is the amazing stuff. And it's being demonstrated all the time. Are Mandela effects huge? Most of them are really inconsequential. Mostly inconsequential, silly stuff. But if you follow what that means, it's freaking enormous. What it could mean that we absolutely, segments of our population might have absolutely jumped realities. And that's why they share the same memory defects as they're dismissed as. Because, if it's a memory defect, and I've said this for years, for one people or maybe a small percentage of people, okay, yeah, it could happen. It's just the way we assemble and maintain information, and we get this memory glitch that's real common. Okay, but for huge segments of the population, I don't buy it. That's no longer a memory glitch. That's a shift in reality or something. So anyway, my thing used to turn off the TV and ruin the on and off button repeatedly. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Yep, there you go. All right, let's continue. Go to Artemis Rex. I saw a recent TikTok of a woman that was claiming that she always knew that it was Betsy Ross who had made the American flag, but found out that she just sewed it and someone else designed it. I don't know if this is Mandela effect or not. I remember being taught that Betsy Ross sewed the flag, but at this point, I don't know if I've been tricked by the effect or if the school system failed this lady. Good dick. Yeah, I mean, there's different levels of education, and I think we all heard that Betsy Ross made the first flag. I don't think I ever heard who designed it, but I knew that she sewed it. And I don't remember being interested enough to know. And it's just me being an idiot kid. I never appreciated the value of history as a kid, but I certainly do much more as an adult. However, yeah, I mean, there's crayon learning, and then there's there's scientific learning, or more academic learning. And certainly you start kids with the easy stuff. Just don't color outside the lines. And then you go to now solve for pi to the 3,000th decimal or something. It's like different layers of education. So yeah, I don't know. My favorite version is the famous Fruit of the Loom cornucopia. I'm 37 years old and absolutely remember the Fruit of the Loom label having a cornucopia. I remember that too. I remember making a joke about it when we had to make a construction paper cornucopia for a Thanksgiving project in or about second or third grade. But I also want to add that I think there's something to that Hadron Collider thingy theory where it put us into the wrong universe / timeline. The weirder current events get, the more I'm convinced it's true. Fair enough, Artemis. I think that's a fair assessment. It certainly stands as a possibility anyway. I mean, I don't pretend to know enough to know anything about how we got here, but I think we got here. I agree. There's too many weird things in this Mandela stuff for it to be just these weird anomalous memory defects. Something very real happened, and it's shaken. Even though a lot of them are trivial, it's like, wait a minute, I remember this different. I remember that girl having braces in Moonraker. I remember that. I remember being moved by that. Like as a kid, I was like, oh, cool. So they had this symbiosis or this similarity. Even though she didn't have the bite through cable kind of teeth, she had metal on her teeth. So he wasn't scary to her. And I thought that was adorable. So anyway, they ruined it. They ruined it. Damn it. I love that part. I do it. I agree, Brent. I believe the effect is real. Thanks, Weird Traveler. I like it when you guys agree with me, but I mean, you're welcome to have your own opinions. That's perfectly fine with me as well. Is of a Mandela, or was it legitimately changed? What are we talking about? Moonraker there, Maggie, or what? I think it's a Mandela effect, honestly. Brent, you're right. The implications are profound. Thank you, Annie. People hear what they want to hear. You're right. And that's a great point, John. I mean, certainly people will desperately cling to their paradigm because that's their safe space. And once something pulls them out of that comfort zone, they become adamant and fierce in defending their paradigm because they don't want to lose that comfort. I know the world. This is the world I live in. This is the one I'm comfortable in. I know how to do this world, but the one you're explaining, I don't know how to do. And people go absolutely batty trying to defend what they believe because that's their comfort. That's where they're comfortable. So, but ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Discord question of the week. I hope you found some value in this discussion. I love this discussion. I love that you guys share your thoughts. Again, you guys bring great ideas to the table, and you guys are nothing short of amazing. And so I'm so glad that we have this segment, and I hope you guys appreciate it for what it is. It's your chance to sound off and weigh it out there. Throw out your ideas. And again, there's no wrong answers, so don't be shy. Don't be intimidated by, well, you might read this on the air. Well, sure. But just lay it out there. If you don't know, that's fine. You don't have to answer. If you don't have an opinion, that's fine. But if you do, don't be afraid to share that because you might bring something totally new to the table that most of us have never considered. And it's every new piece of information I get or a new idea that I get, I feel moves me closer to understanding this. And maybe it's an unachievable goal, but it's just my passion. This is my passion. I want to understand this. I really do. And I think that, again, the ramifications of us understanding at least some of this, or at least small portions of this, could reshape the world that we know. Because we would be discovering forces at work that we don't currently understand, but we could study and maybe understand and apply to our world, help people, increase the quality of life potentially, increase the efficiency of our lives, and the wastefulness wouldn't be as dramatic. I don't know. I mean, just consider the ramifications that even a small thing can lead to. So anyway, I mean, just think about it. Newton discovered gravity. Before that, we could have flew off at any time. I'm just saying. But he established that, and then it became the law of gravity. So we got to obey. All right. Anyway, this was the discussion of the question of the week. I just love that part. I love that discussion. I love these discussions a lot. And special thanks to Chucky Danger for keeping that magic going and keeping that ball rolling. I appreciate it a bunch. And great question, Chucky. Well done, sir. And great answers, everybody. Everybody that participated, thank you so much. Wasn't there a Bible verse where the lambs lie down with the wolves? It was the lion lies down with the lambs, and now it's the wolves lie down with the lambs. And it used to be when the lion lies down with the lamb, or lays down with the lamb, and that was it's supposed to be this amazing, I don't know, simile or parable of this incredible event that would never happen. Like a lion shouldn't lay down with lambs normally, but it was a great statement, and now it became wolves lay down with lambs. When the wolf lays down with the lamb, what? Crazy, crazy stuff. We didn't need Newton to tell us about gravity. We just had to wait for the life expectancy of women to get past 50. I'm not sure what that means, Artemis. Not sure where you're going with that. I don't know what that means. Okay, that's crazy. Something has been off for a while now, Maggie. Oh, what's crazy? What's crazy? What's Maggie talking about? On the Bible verse. Oh, we'll look into it. Thanks, Aussie. What did Aussie say? I'm trying to catch up with chat here a little bit. I like to see what you guys are talking about because you guys are my co-host tonight. So I just got to see what you guys are saying. After 50, gravity takes over. Well, it took over for me long before 50. My body didn't wait till 50. I'm just saying. I started drooping all over. I will say that there's, depends on the individual. I've known women who were stunning and radiant and gorgeous at, even at advanced ages. And so it's very individual. It was about the Lion and the Lamb, Brent. Oh yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Sorry. I just wasn't sure what you were saying. We're just, we're just high. Okay. Dogman lies with the lamb now. Ooh, there you go, John Temperin. I'm 50 and gravity sucks. Well, I'm older than that, and I'm trying to beat gravity because I've been losing a lot of weight. But man, just trust me that it's a good thing I don't do this show nude. It would have to be reclassified as disturbing. Anyway. Wait, Brent's got a plastic bottle. I remember he used a refiller bottle once before. Oh, yeah, you know what? I had to pull my bottle out of the way so I could read because it's kind of standing in front of the monitor here. And then I just ended up drinking it. But I still got my tumbler over here. And cheers. I actually forgot about it. I forgot about my tumbler. But I'll try to leave it up here so it's kind of up close and personal. It's my alien tumbler. It's got a gray alien on there. What does it say? I need space. It says I need space. It's supposed to light up, but I think I ran it through the dishwasher and screwed up the electronics. Doesn't light up anymore, I'll tell you that. But anyway, I guess it would look like radioactive goo. I'd become a Ninja Turtle if I drank it with the lights on. It could happen. Maggie, I was talking about CERN too. Did it change our timeline, Brent? Well, so Conrail, there's no... I mean, obviously, everybody's got their ideas. I will say that there was this a theoretical physics prodigy. I think he was 14 years old. His name was Max something, and he had a theory about it, of what happened, because he was a firm believer in the Mandela effect. And I'm not sure what happened to this kid, where it'll become out of him, since he was very publicly focused on for making the statement. But what he said, what he thinks happened was that it's possible that CERN changed the weight of one atomic electron through their experiments. They changed the weight of it, and that caused a chain reaction of destroying that physical time, or that physical space, that physical universe was changed and destroyed by that one electron being altered. Because then I imagine everything is probably in this incredibly deliberate balance. I think it's deliberate because I don't think it's by accident that exists. And by our meddling, changing that could have thrown a chain reaction into effect that wiped out all of reality for that one universe. And so what he believes happened is, in that moment, our consciousness was suddenly slammed into a parallel dimension of existence. And that's why there's these weird things that we're noticing, like, wait, that's not the way it went. That's not what I remember. I remember it different. And so, is he right? Hell, I don't know. And I don't know that anybody could know. But the kid was like brilliant. He did videos about, what it means, like fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional reality, what it means. he's a 14-year-old kid explaining these incredible things about theoretical physics and quantum physics and stuff, and it was just like, wow, this kid is absolutely off the chain. This kid is so smart. So if he said they changed the weight of an electron and it caused us to slam into a different version of reality, hell, that's better than anything I got to offer against it. So he might be right. And believe what you want, I guess, but I can't remember his last name. He said it sent us into a multiverse. Okay, is that what he said? Yeah, something about that. But he sent us into a different version of our reality in the multiverse, I think is what he was saying, as I recall. But yeah, Artemis Rivers had a song about a little chicken in Sunday school. We had a song. Okay. All right, Conrail. Well, yeah, if we had phones, you could call in and sing it, but I don't know. Why can't we be slammed into a universe where kindness is strength? Well, I think it's probably the same in every universe as far as our incarnations are concerned, that we're kind of all on the same plane of development, if you will. So I think that probably our reality coincides with our development, if you will. Like, the reason for life, I think, is for us to, probably become more enlightened or possibly divine, however you want to look at that. But, we're on this kind of this moral kindergarten, if that makes sense. And so it wouldn't matter what version of the multiverse we're slammed into, we're still going to be in the same class. It's like a curriculum, and there's different schools all over the country that utilize similar curriculum. So there might be some variations in different schools, but generally, if you leave your third grade class in one place and you go all the way across the country and start third grade class in that place, it's going to be very similar. And so I think that's kind of what this version of incarnation is. We're just in the same class. I hope we get to the point where we hit at least middle school, but I think we're still in elementary school. I say during the COVID shutdown, these cryptids were released into our national parks. I don't know, John, because the stories of cryptids in our national parks were much earlier, much earlier than 2020. There's been reports of cryptids in a lot of the spaces that are now national parks since the 1800s. So I don't know. I think it predates that, but that's my take on it. Elaine says, finally done around the house except folding laundry. Been listening though. Well, good, Elaine. I hope it's been an interesting listen. I love these discussions because, it's all ideas. It's all thoughts. And this show is all about, a journey, discussing possibilities. So I hope you've enjoyed it, Elaine. We got you through the rough stuff. Now you can join us. All right. What else we got here? No, middle school girls are demons personified. Annie, that's all right. We made it through middle school once. We can do it again. We can do it again, but we'll take with us maybe a better state of mind. Do you think that maybe once we die, we, instead of heaven, we go to another Earth-type planet or in between lives on this planet, and maybe that's heaven? If it's happy, I hope so. It doesn't matter what the term. It's, as far as I can tell from people that have had near-death experiences, whatever they experience is a very real thing. It's very real and often is described as more real than their life here. So whatever we go to next or after this, if those accounts can be trusted, then it's full of love and peace and the colors are much more vivid and vibrant than they could be here. And the joy that you feel being closer to the divine spirit or love or the almighty or the universe, whatever you want to describe it as, is more profound. There isn't all this crap in between us in our, emotional states and touching that divinity, like we're that much closer. And so, if it is another planet, cool. If it's just a manifestation of that divine love, then that's cool. Do we come back? Maybe. maybe if we don't get it all right the first time, maybe we come back. I don't know how you feel about reincarnation, all you guys, but to me, it kind of stands to reason that I don't think we can figure it out in, 80 years or whatever our life expectancy is, or, it depends on the individual, but that maybe it takes several laps around the track. And maybe the elementary school is like, it's 6 years, right? Or 5 or 6 years, 6, whatever. Some middle schools start at 6, some go to 6 at elementary. I don't know. Anyway, my point is that you don't progress to the next level, which is like middle school, and then middle school to high school until you finish the levels. And so, I don't know, just my thoughts, and they're just my own personality, my own spirituality, I guess. Death is only the beginning. Exactly right, John. We're getting pretty metaphysical here, and that's fine. I don't mind if the discussion goes that way, guys. I don't mind that at all. Conrail, you actually typed it out. I had a little chicken that wouldn't lay an egg, so I poured hot water up and down her leg. The little chicken hollered and the little chicken begged, and the little chicken laid me a hard-boiled egg. Well, that's sweet. That's a sweet song, Conrad. Conrail, thank you so much for putting that out there. I'm not sure why they popped in my head. Interestingly enough, everything is beautiful and nothing hurt from the novel Slaughterhouse-Five. Death is only the beginning. There are theories out there. I think our energy goes on, but not sure where, how, why, etc. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm never coming back to this planet, Aggravated says. The thing is the world is beautiful. It's just that we're force-fed all the dark stuff. I almost cussed. We're just force-fed all the dark crap from our media, from popular culture. We're just given this steady diet of negativity, and you are empowered to turn that off. You're empowered not to focus on that. And you're empowered to focus your energy on the positives, to do good things with your time, to, go and help lift up other people. I mean, these are all choices that we have. We don't have to be in this state of misery. We're just conditioned to. And so we can change the dial. You can turn the channel anytime you want. You're not forced to live in a state of misery. It's just that we don't realize how powerful we are and how much choice we have. And so I think that that's maybe the key. At least it is for me. So don't forget, you are the creator of your reality. And I realize that's an overly simplistic statement in a lot of ways. Like, well, yeah, but I'm not creating wars. You're right. You're not. But thank God that many of us don't have to live in that state of war. We live with the knowledge that those wars happen, and they're horrible events. They're horrible situations of the worst of the worst, and many other situations around the globe that are just dark and horrible, but we don't need to focus on that. We need to focus on raising the vibration, raising our own personal vibration first, because the world's not going to change for you. You've got to change the world. So I think that's maybe the key. I don't know. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding preachy, but these are all kind of things that I wrote in my book that I'm working on getting published. It's called Reflections of a Growing Soul. And these, I don't know if they're valuable or not. I don't know if they are, but they're my thoughts. They're the things that I've picked up along the line, and they serve to help me. And they've served to guide me in a lot of ways. And I've screwed up as much as anybody in life. Don't get me wrong. But I believe that, what does that say? Bodhisattva Sattva Brent. Annie, that's sweet. I think that's a hell of a thing to say. Thank you. After I saw the story of the little boy who knew all about the Battle of Okinawa, that was crazy. Yeah, people that have come back with those knowledges kind of seem to represent that either those children are incredibly tuned into one psychic event for some reason, or they are the people that lived those events. So, yes, if you look for the good. don't get me wrong. I'm this living in this world is plenty tough. It's double tough. It really is. This world is a heavy place to exist, but I just think we have to remember that we're always empowered. We always have a choice. And I started, one of the basic things that I did years ago, and it served me exceptionally well, is that I quit watching news, any kind of news. I mean, I catch little clips of what's going on, and it's, to keep abreast of the world situation, but I don't watch the news. I don't, because it's like a half hour or an hour of all kinds of crap. They might have a segment about somebody who saved a puppy every once a month, but after, other than that, you're getting force-fed just buckets of garbage and how ugly things are and how ugly people can be. And it's like, yeah, and if we start believing that's how ugly people can be, then we're also manifesting that in our reality. And I think it's important to remember that we can be better. We can be better. We can do better. And the only way we can change the world is by changing you, change you and how you manifest in the world. And maybe other people see it and be inspired by that. I don't know. Maybe they'll think we're nuts. Maybe. And maybe they're right. But we'll be happy nuts. He knew the name of the aircraft carrier and the guys he served with. Freaky. Yeah, I remember that story of that boy. Yeah. Fortunately, probably, because if you're the parent and you had a kid that came back with knowledge of their past life, it would feel like you're kind of robbed of being a parent because this person's already kind of an adult. And so you don't get to teach him things. You don't have this loving, malleable plate that you can form and try to mold into this new existence. You're kind of faced with an old man or an old person in a young toddler's body. And that would feel tough. So I guess it's probably a good thing that eventually they seem to forget or grow out of that phase. And again, who knows if it's just that they're tuned into this event somehow psychically from the past and they can recall all these things. They don't know where it's coming from. They're just kind of just spitting it out because they're still little children, but they just know things. And there's many, many accounts of people having these experiences. Like there was this one lady in India who, she was a little kid, little child, and she talked about when, she lived in this other village with her family before, her old family. And the parents were like, what? And she kept bringing up factoids and pieces of information, and the parents started researching it and realizing that there was this woman that lived in this village and seemed to match what her daughter was saying. And so they did get help from a psychologist, and the psychologist was blown away by the correlations. So they did take this little girl to this other village, and she was able to name the spots that she used to go and in her other life. And then when she met her very much adult children, they were in advanced years by this time, but she knew them by sight and by name. It's like, whoa, it's like, wow. But I don't know how that finished, if she kept those memories throughout her forming life or if they faded away. But a lot of times those memories kind of fade and they seem to forget. And so that's maybe a blessing for the parents, like I said, because it would feel like you kind of got robbed of the ability to have this child and to help shape its life. So I'm kind of behind in chat, so I'm trying to catch up here. Yes, absolutely. The news is so negative. Yeah, exactly. It's strange, though, to hear that deja vu often happens before a seizure. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Hoggle. I didn't know that. That's wild. Yeah, Sutru Lane, 10 to 14 minutes a day. I bought the book Many Lives, Many Masters, and a few days later my brother-in-law died. I'm superstitious about reading the book. I feel like someone else will pass if I read it. I can understand the trepidation, Rachel, with that, but I would have to say that I think in many ways our paths are are already laid out before us, and not that we don't have to make choice and live our lives, but that nobody will die until it's their time to go. And it seems hard to understand, especially in light of tragedies and horrible things happening to people by other people. It's like, well, how was that predestined? But I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I think that, again, my basic belief in this life is that we're here to learn. And so rather than embrace the tragedy, I don't know, try to look for the beauty in what did it teach you. Sometimes, the most horrible things happen to people, and it's so hard to understand. But maybe those people serve as examples to the rest of us. Like, appreciate what you have, because it could always be worse. And it's hard to understand what that means until you see somebody that's dealing with worse. And then you start being thankful and you start being grateful, and you're like, man, I'm really blessed. I'm really lucky. I just can't understand what that would be like to go through. And so I don't know if that's the answer or not, but that's how I cope with those kind of things in my own life. It's like, yeah, there's lots of tragedies. There's lots of injustice, and this world is certainly not perfect. But I don't know if it's supposed to be, because we're certainly not perfect. So how can we expect the world to be? A little boy who took his family to a remote island in Scotland from the USA or Britain. I think he knew so many accurate details. Yeah, exactly. Those stories are amazing. I do not get the frog joke still. Rachel, you want to lay out the frog joke for Susie? That's how I was last night. I was like, I don't know if I understand this. I don't know if I get it. That's awesome. It's to do with flies. Time flies and frogs eat them. Yes, thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. That's what Rachel had to spell out for me too. I was like, oh, okay. The news down here is like Wild Wild West. Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure it is. It is everywhere, though. There's people in other countries that refuse to travel to the United States because of our news. They think that everywhere they go, it's going to be like the Wild West in the U.S. because the news is just focused so completely. Carjackings, murders, drug deals, the crisis of open drug use and needles laying everywhere in feces. It's like, why would you want to come here? When that's what you're being presented with. It's, and that's thanks to the news. No, it doesn't, I'm not meaning to say that people don't have a right to know what's going on. Sure you do. But for that to be the focus of every newscast all over the planet almost, it's like, man, something's not right here. Makes me wonder why more don't remember. Yeah, I hear you, aggravated. I know. It does make me wonder, how much further along would we be if we did have recall of our past experiences? How much further along in life would we be, or be able to get in our current lives if we could draw on the experiences of other, lifetimes, however many, if we've lived other ones? And yeah, to have to reinvent the wheel every time we come around seems like, oh, but maybe it's in there somewhere. Maybe it's in us somewhere. It's like you hear the term used all the time when you meet someone that's really nice and really warm and engaging and helpful, and they go out of their way, and people say, oh, this person's such an old soul. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe that's the culmination of all of their previous experiences, that this time they became this really loving, caring soul because they have the pain and anguish of other lifetimes of misery. And I'm not saying you should believe in this or not, but it is an interesting thought, right? I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. What did Rachel say that we're sorry to hear about? The book. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's for sure. You're not alone, Susie. Oh, Karen. I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. Rachel, my humble opinion, no way to know. And he could, yeah, that's exactly right. You can't put that pressure on yourself. people's journeys will end when they're meant to, and we can't pretend that by some action that we're doing, unless you're lifting a weapon towards somebody directly, or if you're wishing some kind of illness or curse on them, then maybe you might be influencing that a little more than you should, and that's not a good thing. But I don't know if by virtue of reading something, if that correlates. It's maybe you were given the book, led to the book because you were going to be facing that, and maybe was meant to be a help for you. I don't know what the book is. You said the title, but I've not read it, so I don't know. But I like to look at things that way as much as I can. Like we're led to what we need to help us deal with what's going to be coming. So that's fair enough. I'm sorry for your loss. Is there a video spoiler you can go watch just to get a summary of the book, Rachel? Well, that's a good point, Hoggle. Good point. Brent, he knew his sister. She was in her 80s when they met, and she gave the little boy her brother's toys. Oh, that's sweet. That's really sweet, Conrail. I'm way behind on the chat, so I'm trying to catch up. Because you guys are the co-hosts tonight. We're having this discussion. I believe the date of your birth comes along with the date of your death, but what matters is what you do between. Absolutely, John. That's a great take. That's the case as part of my family. I told my cousin that his niece was pregnant with his police partner, who was a munitions expert. The kid keeps smashing things at 4. That might do it. Got it in your blood. Silver linings seem trite, but it makes living my life a little easier. Amen, Maggie. Always appreciative of what I have been given. Good for you, Barbara. Thanks, Brent. Someone I care about has a serious medical condition. I'm amazed at her living her life with this condition. Yeah, those people teach us so much, Rachel. They teach us. So here's a little glimpse into my personal life. This was the person that taught me the value of belief and the value of strength and perseverance, even in the face of impossible odds. When I was in high school, I did several computer classes, and back then it was the punch cards and all the really, really old computer stuff. It was like, we had the Apple IIe's around, and there was still typing class that used typewriters, back when I was in school. And personal computers were just really starting to come out. IBM had a few, but most of those were business machines. But Apple kind of broke the shell with the whole home computing thing. Anyway, in one of my classes, I knew this kid was in school. I just had never really paid any attention to him, just because I was in my own world, doing my own world things as a young man. But I met this boy named Steven. Steven had muscular dystrophy, extreme. He lost his ability to walk by the time he was 9 or 10, somewhere in there. And he'd been confined to a wheelchair, and his body was betraying him. Now, Stephen was smart as a whip and incredibly bright. He had dreams like you wouldn't believe of things he wanted to accomplish in life. Now, Stephen was told he wouldn't live much past 10 by the doctors. And now when I met Stephen, he was about 14 or 15. He was very much in his wheelchair, and Stephen and I became friends. And I started, after I went to school and worked part-time and stuff at a hardware store, but on the weekends I was generally off. And so on Friday nights, I would go after school was done, and I went home and did whatever I had to do, came back into town, and I would take Stephen, and he had an electric wheelchair. And I used to let him drive me downtown, because he lived close to downtown back in the town I grew up in. And so I'd stand on the back of his wheelchair, and he'd drive us to the local movie theater. It was a 3-screen movie theater called the Chief Theater. And we'd get a popcorn and pop, and he didn't have any muscle control really, very, very limited. He was kind of frozen like this, kind of like Stephen Hawking in a lot of ways, except he had more mobility than Stephen Hawking. But he was just such a great guy. Now, when I met Stephen, we went to the movie theater to buy him the pops, and I figured out that, he couldn't lift the cup, so I got a bunch of straws and kind of made a tower of straws and would tape them and then rig it up. And then I'd rig up his popcorn so it was high, so we only had to move his wrist a little bit to eat popcorn. And we'd go watch movies. And we did this all the time, many, many times. And it was this neat friendship. And Stephen was this person that was largely dismissed. And one of the things that broke my heart was Stephen was this normal kid in this body that had betrayed him. But as I got to know Stephen, I know he dreamed of being an author. He really idolized Stephen King and the Bachman books that Stephen King wrote when he was out of contract, and loved horror. And he would practice writing books and stuff, and we'd talk about it, and we'd hang out, and we had this amazing friendship. And again, he wasn't supposed to live much past the age of 10 years old. I would go visit Stephen many times throughout I would hang out with him all the time during school year and stuff, and during the summers and such. But then came high school, ended, graduated, and we kind of went our different ways. But Stephen and I still stayed in touch. And I'd moved up in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but weekends come, I would still go visit Stephen and see him and see how he was doing, and his health, of course, continued to evaporate. But he never quit dreaming. He never quit dreaming about being an author and beating this disease and fighting and continuing on. And he lived until the age of 35 years old. This is a boy that wasn't supposed to live past 10. And it, of course, was a heartbreaker when he passed. But I did have a dream of Stephen after he passed. And I don't know why, but I seem to have these visitations with people after they pass, in a lot of cases, not every case, but he came to me and he was walking and he was smiling, and I was like, Stephen. And I gave him a big hug, and we met in this dream, and it was the first dream that I experienced this ever. It was, he was the first person of significance that I lost in my life. But he came to me, and he was walking normally, and he was happy. He's like, I'm great. And what he said to me and what we said, some of which has been lost to time, but mostly he just said, I'm great. It's wonderful. I'm good. And it was so cool to see that. But he taught me so much in his life. And his family said that I did so much for him. But what he gave to me was so much more, because he taught me that you still hang on to your dreams. You still fight for your dreams, and you still push forward. And he taught me so much about strength and perseverance and believing in those things, because it was incredible. And so he has been this example in my life forever. And I am so fortunate to have known this person. One of the tragedies, though, was that, he was this normal kid, but he's trapped in this body. But in our school system, it was so, it was another era, for one thing. But he had to eat and do all of his functions around the only other really disabled kids in that school, which were, and this isn't me casting aspersions, but they were severely retarded kids. And it was his chance to have something normal. So that was what I guess I gave to him, and I didn't really consider it. I just thought he was this amazing person and liked hanging out with him and talking with him, because I love talking about dreams and thinking about possibilities, and he loved talking about that stuff. So we got along famously. But he taught me a lot. But I think it's the people in life teach us things, and some of them live in the worst situations and circumstances, but somehow they still push above and beyond, and they show us what we're capable of. And that's one of the things he gave to me. So I don't know. I'm sorry to take up so much of the show to talk about that. It's a very, very personal story, but it's also a very important part of my life and part of what shaped me into the person that I am today, and why I believe so vehemently in this, the Paranormal Portal, because I grew up most of my life not sure what I wanted to do. But then I found me. Yeah, Karen says, my hubby taught me grace and kindness. That man does not have an unkind bone in his body or thought. He's very spiritual as well. I wish I had just a fraction of his grace and kindness. And you do, Karen, you do. You're an amazing soul, and you guys are beautiful together. You guys are amazing together. So, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry to take up so much of the show to talk about that, but I think we're given these things in life for a reason, because they maybe teach us. If we pay attention, we don't have to experience those things ourselves. We can learn from those people who are showing us these profound examples. So, yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Rachel Brand. Thank you for this. It helps me understand that people are never lost from our life. Yeah. Brent, I'm so happy you had your friendship too. How lovely. Oh. Yeah, he's a beautiful soul. I'm sure he's probably keeping an eye on me as I stumble through the remainder of my life, but he's just a beautiful guy. And nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but because there were other people that latched into our friendship group and got to know Stephen as well. So he did have a peer group and stuff, and it was really wonderful. But he was this amazing mind. But it would have been easy for people to dismiss him as just the kid in the chair. You just kind of don't acknowledge it. You just walk around it. You don't focus on that. But inside of him, he was vibrant and alive and had so much to offer and share. And I'm so blessed and thankful that I got the opportunity to know Stephen, because he enriched my life so much. And I am a better person because of him, because of what he showed me as he battled. As he battled his life. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't know I was going to get emotional. Anyway. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Is it 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Time flies.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I apologize that I spent so much time talking about that, but I just wanted to share that because it's, I don't know why. I guess because maybe that example helps us to understand some of the dark things that we see is maybe they're there to teach us, And I don't mean for this to become a philosophical show. I apologize. But it's just these everybody has the ability to transform your world if you let them. And hopefully for the better. Of course we've all experienced those people that transform us for the less than good things, in less than good ways. But the opposite is true. But thank you guys for listening to me, and I hope that that's okay. It's not what the show is about usually, but I also feel like you guys are family to me, and we have this incredible connection, and you know, I've gotten to know many of you through the years, and so I don't feel uncomfortable sharing those things. I just hope that you guys understand that, you know, sometimes those are just stories I think are worth sharing, and his story is definitely worth sharing, and I'll never forget him. And you know, again, I feel just really blessed that, you know, I was able to experience his friendship and his presence in my life, because he did so much more for me than I ever could have for him. So I guess, like I say, you know, the shows are always unplanned. I don't always have a direction. I have an idea of things that I intend to cover, but when we go sideways down a different path, I guess it's because we were meant to. And maybe those words will matter to some of you, and maybe they annoyed some of you. But thank you all for listening and being a part of my journey, and this is also part of my journey. The portal is my journey, but also what brought me to this part of my journey is also a part of my story, and I appreciate that you guys are willing to listen. So anyway, I guess we're out of time. Yeah, we went a little over, didn't we? So anyway, that's about all we got time for. Again, I sincerely love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey and for being here, sharing in these shows with me. I appreciate your love and your kindness and your support for my dream. That means the world. Thank you for the donations, by the way. I did see that. As I was scrolling, I couldn't speak because I was too choked up. And so, yeah, I'm not a good crier. I'm one of those, my throat does this thing where I can't make words anymore. So I just have to wait until I can figure it out. So anyway, just know we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Watch for the podcast coming out Monday. It's my interview with Ronnie LeBlanc of Expedition Bigfoot and Paranormal Caught on Tape. It's a wonderful interview. I had a great time talking with Ronnie, and I think you guys will like it. That's going to be the final episode for season 5 of the podcast. I'm going to take a couple weeks and just focus on things that I've been putting on the sideline for far too long and need to really buckle into. But that's beautiful, Weird Traveler. In high school, I always saw a kid who was always by himself. One day I went over and said hi. We became friends after that. You probably changed this person's world, Weird Traveler. That's beautiful. Thank you. And I'm way behind in chat. I apologize. I can't catch up before the end of the show. So I'm going to finish the show and read the rest of your chats, guys. But I love your comments. Thank you for being supportive of me sharing that. Thank you. And if you would, please like the stream. Please recommend it to other people that might like the stream. And just know that I'll see you Wednesday for sure. Until then, you guys have a good day. And anything, Minion, to share?
No.
Nothing? You got nothing?
No.
All right, guys, that's it for us. Take care. Love you, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you. Take care. Love. Mean it. See ya. That's all I got.